afternoon. Thank you for joining my YouTube channel. Today I would like to explain about poetry, in particular musical poetry, and how to perform it. This is a part of a poetry class in English language education. So before we continue, we have to understand what is poetry. Poetry is a verbal work of art which has a lot of meaning. Inside the poetry, it has a lot of figurative languages such as denotation, connotation, metaphors, personification, imagery, and others. And today I will be performing one of my poems entitled Burning Hair. But before that, we have to understand that to make a musical poetry, we have to know that poetry is made based on the vision of the poet and the voice of the poetry itself. So the vision is the purpose or the goal of the poetry, while voice is the message of the poetry itself. So in Burning Tongue, it is about a person who wants to take a revenge to someone else by burning his or her tongue. And the tone, the rhyme, and the rhythm of the poetry is a bit cynical, satirical, and sad, and a little bit dark. So we have to understand the tone of the poetry because it is to be performed. If we don't understand the message or the voice of the poetry itself, it is very difficult for us to understand how to perform it. Right? Like, for example, in Burning Tongue, it is started by, I will one day burn your tongue. So it could be performed like this. I will one day burn your tongue. So these two lines are the most important points of the poetry. So the soul of the poetry lies in these two lines, like, I will one day burn your tongue. But you can also have another tone or rhyme of the poetry, like, for example, I will one day burn your tongue. You can do that also. Or, I will one day burn your tongue. Can also be like that. Still dark, still very satirical, still very sad, something like that. And then you can continue to the next lines, something that's still related to the first two lines, like, not even a word coming out your tongue. Yeah. So if we go like, I will one day burn your tongue, not even a word coming out your tongue. That day you will beg me not to burn your tongue. It can be like that, or if you find any other rhyme, it could also be like, not even a word coming out your tongue. That day you will beg me. Something like that. You can do it also. You can find any rhyme, any tone, but still related to the voice of the poetry itself. You don't even need musical instruments here. Just use your vocal and your expression, because the words itself has already got the rhyme inside it and rhythm inside it. Yeah, maybe you don't need keyboard or you don't need guitar or anything. You just need to feel the poetry. But then if you have it, yeah, it's good to have it. But if you don't have it, no problem. Yeah, thank you. Okay, now the second thing is that you need to know the soul of the poetry. What does the poetry want to say? Or what is the soul of the poetry? Like in Burning Tongue, for example, this person, the voice inside the poetry really wants to take a revenge to somebody else who has done something bad to him, and that's why it becomes a very dark hatred inside him or her. Yeah. So I will continue the next. but my fire is on to burn. No mercy to such a liar, no time for sorry. As I burn, I let you watch your burning tongue. You deserve to enjoy the sight. You can make a high tone there because it's like the climax of the poetry. Remember that every poetry has a climax. You just need to find the highest emotion in that poetry, and it could be considered as your climax or your peak of poetry. So why I took this as a climax, because in this Burning Tongue poem, I, 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 I feel, because I wrote it, that is the sensation of the feeling. Yeah. So I'm going to continue. I'm going to repeat. As I burn, I let you watch your burning tongue. You deserve to enjoy the sight. You make it high note, and then the next one. Then I leave to let you alone with the sensation. Tongue is not a tongue. It's not only a tongue, but for you, tongue is a tongue, even just a tongue. So I burn it because you don't even need it. Thank me instead, thank me once. You can make musical poetry like tongue is not a tongue. It's not only a tongue, but for you, tongue is a tongue, even just a tongue. So I burn it because you don't even need it. Thank me instead, thank me once. So in this musical poetry, you don't need to sing every line or every stanza. You don't need it. You just feel in which part that you are going to sing it or perform it, and the other you just read it. As long as it is one point, one whole thing, or it still goes along with the whole soul of the poetry, it's okay. Okay, that's the first lesson. Thank you. So what I'm going to say here is that to make a musical poetry, actually the device that you really need is yourself, your soul, and your understanding, your expression. Sometimes you don't need any device, you don't need anything, instruments, yeah, because if there is instrument, it is also to support your performance. Still, it has to have a soul inside it, right? So you don't need to make a lot of make a lot of noise, yeah, because it can disturb your poetry. But then the thing that you should understand is that the poetry has soul, and you have to make it out. You have to make it out from the poetry itself. So you have to share the soul. Okay, so like maybe it is very difficult for beginner, but then if you find the poetry and the soul of it, it should be very easy. Thank you. The second poetry that I will be performing is A Failed Face by myself. It is about a woman who has a broken face because somebody has hurt her, and it leaves a very deep marks in her heart. Yeah. Failed face. If not because of this face, he won't marry me. If not because of this face, I wouldn't be weak. Now I don't need a face to please you, so I burn it to know whether or not you still love me without my face. I know that it hurts you, but it hurts me even more to have no face and no love and not even a single piece of fire within. If not because of this face, he won't marry me. If not because of this face, I wouldn't be free. Now I don't need a face to please you, so I burn it to know whether or not you still love me without my face. I know that it hurts you, but it hurts hurts me even more to have no face and no love and not even a single piece of fire within. So just as simple as that, you can find a musical, a magical soul of the poetry. As long as you understand the vision of and the voice of the poetry, I think you can perform a musical poetry, because every poetry has tone, rhyme and rhythm. You just need to find it. Yeah, you don't need a lot of instruments to support you, but if you have and if you can, you can do it. But if you don't have anything, just use your expression from inside of your heart and feel it, then you will find that it's not that difficult. Thank you. Okay, and the last one, still from my Burning Hair Poems Anthology, is Tonight is Not Fine. I will perform it. This is about a feeling of a woman, about a night that is not fine for her, right? Look, tonight is not fine, as you always think. It was a lie. Tonight is fine, not as always true. Woman cannot hide sadness, true. Woman can hide herself, not her dreams, true. Woman can be mean, can be true, can be wrong, can be bad, can be mysterious, can be everything she wants, true. Woman always smiles, lie. Woman always loving and caring, lie. Woman is controllable, lie. Woman is humorous, partly true. Woman is cynical, not woman. I am true. Okay, so you can you can see that there is not much instruments that I use. I only use my vocal and expression. So because I know that the soul of the poetry is very strong already, and the words are already strong, so the instruments I use are only voice and expression. That is also considered as musical poetry. You just perform it without musical instrument. But again and again, if you have a support any instruments that you can play by yourself, it is very good. It will be better maybe. Thank you.